So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our viewers around the globe. And thank you again for chiming in with us on Intimate Conversations. And if you feel compelled to push the subscribe button on my YouTube channel, that would be amazing. And yeah, friendship on Facebook is all great too. So today we have in this conversation I'm in with today is our guest is Jacqui O'Connor. Welcome, Jacqui, and thank you for saying yes and coming along and having a chat.
Yeah, thanks, Mandy. Looking forward to it.
Me too. There's an idea you've put together and created that I was always going to do and never did. So it's beautiful to see that you've picked up the call, and not that it was all mine, of course, it's always whoever and wherever, but yeah, beautiful. So, just as an intro, I'm just going to read your intro, and
Hmm.
for those who don't know you, and then we'll get into this conversation. But Jacqui O'Connor is the founder and founder of Heart Place Hospital. Jacqui O'Connor is a former registered nurse of 31 years turned reimagined, but reimaged nurse and visionary founder of Heart Place Hospital. Aotearoa's New Earth charitable sanctuary for mind, body, and soul. After decades on the front lines of healthcare, Jacqui followed an inner call to create a space where people could heal with dignity, spirit, and deep connection. An approach inspired by Te Wheke and grounded in whole health wisdom. Love it. Now based in Mangawhai, she blends science, intuition, community, and a dash of magic to support others through life's biggest transformations. Jacqui is known for her warm presence, her humor, and her ability to guide people back to their own inner medicine. When she's not uplifting frontline workers or hosting Heart Place Hospital's podcast, you'll find her beach walking, cold water dipping, or conspiring with the universe to make miracles feel normal. I love it, Jacqui. What a woman. Ah,
Thank you.
look, I was so inspired to just not because absolutely because of who you are, but also totally around this Heart Place Hospital and the idea and the functioning of it all, of course. But I always had this feel that I was going to start an energy hospital. I'd call it that, energy hospital,
Mhm.
working purely with the energetics of body and mind and spirit and blah blah, all the thing. And so I would love you to get into this with us. But first of all, the way that I start these conversations is by asking you, were you an consciously aware as you were when you were very young? Like, were you that sort of child? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
how
was.
was the dynamics around that for you as a kid? Because I know for myself, my parents weren't and my brother wasn't, and it was really quite
Yeah,
complicated.
that's a really big chunk of my why and story. So, heart place because I was actually a heart kid, so I was born with a cardiac condition, and at 4 years old, I woke up above myself in my first cardiac procedure. So, sort of got some curiosity around that, whether I experienced a near-death experience or an
Mm.
out-of-body experience for sure. And so I was looking down on myself. And then that's when I was diagnosed, and I knew I had to go back to that place, which to me was really scary. Because to your point, they were looking after me physically, but there wasn't any sort of emotional or spiritual support there. So
Yeah.
our awe-inspiring body
Mhm.
helped me adapt. And so I would use distraction and busyness to not think about that I had to go back to that place. And I did. I had to go back. I was on a waiting list and I went back when I was 8 and had open heart surgery. So pretty big
Yeah.
events. When you think that there was no sovereignty or body autonomy or consent as an 8-year-old. So
Mhm.
I think a lot of people can use their imagination to what sort of effect that had on me. In between all that, I also had this outer worldly experience. And once again, it was actually medicalized, pathologized, and medicated.
Mm,
So I always knew things before they happened.
yeah.
So I knew that when someone was pregnant before that it shared it, and I knew that a car accident was going to happen, and I knew who was going to win the prize at school, and I knew who was going to win the meat raffle at the school fair. So I had this real knowing as a young person, but I didn't have any words or anything to go with it. The other thing that I experienced as a young person was we would go bushwalking in the Waitakares in Auckland, and I would have to be carried out with my hands over my eyes because all the mushrooms and plants were talking to me.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so it wasn't encouraged, not that I didn't have an amazing, loving family, but it was just, I guess, the times. Although that's no excuse either, because I've met people my age who it was, the wonder was welcomed.
yes.
Um, and then, yeah, like you talked about, you sort of grow older. And so my mask and my filter just, I wanted to blend in. I was
Mm,
already different. I had had a big scar down my chest, and then I was diagnosed with a neurological condition, which to me now is not it wasn't correct. Um, so I call it's iatrogenesis. So when the health system actually comes up with a diagnosis, and it, might not necessarily fit. So
yes.
in my opinion, it doesn't fit, not at all.
Yeah.
Um, and so, but I just cruised through. Like I said, I had this awe-inspiring body that helped me survive. So my adaptations were busyness, and I was really good at it. I also was a runner, and I was a people pleaser and a perfectionist. So if I just had this belief, if I did everything really right and really perfect, then these bad things wouldn't happen to me again. So they were my adaptations. And then as I got older, I discovered alcohol, which was just amazing because I could really fit in, and I could really, really,
Mm,
truly disconnect.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so and then if I think about all my kind of massive life transitions, so my going through my first menarche, my first menstruation, and being really completely in the dark and disempowered on that powerful transition.
Yeah.
Sexuality. So I was raised a Catholic, so I was very fearful of being bad because I would go to hell. And
Yeah.
then when it came to actually connecting with my physical, intimate body, it was taboo. So that was massive. And then motherhood was huge. Again, it was very much, everybody else works until they give birth, and then they give birth and they get on with it.
Yeah.
And so I have lots of questions around our diagnosis is there with postnatal depression. I believe it's postnatal depletion. And we're actually really just masking and symptom controlling and not actually getting to the root cause
Yeah.
and providing proactive healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I guess my mat truck, so all those transitions were like taps on the shoulder and 4x4s in the back of my head. And then when I got to perimenopause, it was like I was hit by a mat truck. And I was real like, so I had a general anesthetic on the anniversary of my open heart surgery at the same hospital. And my mum was dropping me off, and she was like, ah, ha, ha, I dropped you off, 3 decades ago on this day, and you had open heart surgery, and now I'm dropping you off now. And so it was all, we thought it was all, quite funny. But I actually woke up from that surgery. I was put to sleep. Like I didn't realize, but my trauma was coming up. I was lying in a hospital
Yeah.
setting, and my trauma was coming up, and I was tachycardic, my heart rate was up. So I was actually going into a panic attack, and then I was sedated. So once again, I wasn't experiencing consent, sovereignty, body autonomy. It was just another tick box, like, put this body to sleep, let's deal with this. And so I actually woke up from that surgery with no one's ever diagnosed me with this apart from myself, and I think I'm the only authority that can actually diagnose me anyway, is
Yes.
with a complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And at the time I was 42, I had two young daughters. I was a full-time nurse manager. I was on the netball, I was the netball coach, I was on the PTA. Like I did busy really well.
Yeah.
Um, but what the PTSD did for me, or the Mack truck moment, I prefer to call it, is it actually allowed me, or it dismantled all those adaptations that I had learnt to survive. So I
Hmm.
couldn't access busyness, I couldn't access people pleasing, I couldn't access perfectionism, I couldn't access alcohol, and I couldn't run. And that's all I had in my kitty. I had nothing
Wow.
else.
Yeah.
And so in that void, my whispers returned. So what I had actually experienced as a young person returned because I had created space. Not that I chose to, as we know.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, what we persist resists, and I was resisting. So it persisted to the point where it got me so quiet that I could hear my whispers again. And
Mm.
it was cool, but crazy at the same time because everybody around me was very sort of 3D. You work hard, you play hard, you get a house, you have the kids, and you on repeat.
Yeah.
Um, and so I didn't really have the community to share this with. And when I was vulnerable, I was met with, an antidepressant prescription, or I really bravely went to talk therapy, which is really challenging, still is when you are the help, to actually ask for help. And
Hmm.
80% of frontline workers don't ask for help. And when I talk about frontline workers, I'm talking about a huge group of people who work in health, education, and in family systems. So anyone that is in front of anyone who is vulnerable. So that's a frontline worker can be someone that, works in retail, who is a
Yeah.
hairdresser. So I want,
That's right.
yeah, I want to really reiterate that it's a wide scope
Yeah.
of us. And so I went and had talk therapy, and I was told just to flick a hair tie on my wrist. And so I was so desperate, I did that. And what was hurting in my heart and body, then now my wrist was hurting.
Yeah. Yes.
Just transferred one pain to another. Um, so I just got curious, and I'm making it sound really easy, but it was easy, but it hasn't been simple.
No.
And so I literally just started following breadcrumbs. So this is now March this year will be 10 years since my Mack truck. And I just literally just started following breadcrumbs, and I started experiencing things that I'd never experienced before. And what I was experiencing was the parasympathetic nervous system. So for 42 years, I'd been constantly in the sympathetic nervous system, so in fight and flight. And so I started noticing what I was noticing, and it was just pure joy. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I want more people to hear about this. And that's
Yeah.
literally what I did. I just started doing workshops in my lounge, and I did invite, it was nurses, midwives, doctors, parents, teachers, because first of all, they had such a big place in my heart
Yeah.
from my history, but I also just had this knowing that if we can care for them, then the ripple effect out is so much faster than us just randomly picking up people and doing one person at
Mm.
a time, because they're in front of, sometimes 30 people a day.
Yeah.
And so if they're at their best, if they're not just showing up with what's left of them, they're showing up with what's
Yes.
best of them, then that ripple effects out. And we know that because we can all think of someone that
Yeah.
we're like, oh, that teacher or that health experience was just so positive
Yeah.
because of their energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then the workshops just started sort of morphing. I'd do them in my lounge, and then I was doing them in libraries, and then I really wanted our young people to learn this information. It was very, very basic information, really, like it was our human rights. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was, A lot of, around mindset, around self-care and around energetics.
Mm.
So then I started a workshop for young women, 9 to 13-year-olds, and it was called Be Beautiful. And it was pretty much based on a women's circle. I'd never ever been to a women's circle in my life, but
Yeah.
as I was healing my boundary wounds, this wisdom was coming up
Mm.
and I was remembering.
Yeah.
I use that word over empowering because I really do think as much as we've all got this generational trauma sitting within us, we've also got this generational wisdom sitting within us.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I truly believe that we're here to experience joy and
Yeah,
to remember. And the way that we do that is that we get these, 4x4s, Mack trucks.
we do.
Yeah. And that's, it's brutal, but it's also brilliant as well. So
Yeah.
the wild and the wonderful is in there. And then I guess fast forward and COVID hit. And at this point I'm hybrid, so I'm nursing. I'm the school nurse at a girls' high school in Auckland, and I'm also kind of playing around with these workshops. Yeah. And COVID hit, and that was when I was like, I see. I see why I was Mack truck 4 years ago. And it just started really like just making sense.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm sure you'll understand this. I'm sure lots of your listeners will understand this. You only see as much as, you can handle. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can do that. That's no problem. So I followed the breadcrumbs along the way and I have been collaborating because I thought this is crazy, me going and learning all these modalities. And I have got a lot of modalities, but it's crazy me filling kind of having one sort of adaptation that was filling voids to then falling into this kind of self-help trap and having a whole lot of modalities that are just going to fill me up and
Mm.
burn me out as well. So I just started collaborating, and this is I really do believe before others, like a lot of others were collaborating. So I would
Yes.
find experts in sexuality, sacred sexuality, experts in menopause, and we would come together. And I guess my zone of genius is bringing community together.
Together. Yeah.
Yeah. And their expertise is the subject that we're talking about. So you name it, I did it, like sacred sexuality, around the magic of menopause. I mean, I think it's amazing that we're now talking about menopause as freely as we are.
Mm.
However, I'd love to see a shift in actually the celebration and the understanding of it rather than the heaviness on the pathologizing and medicalizing
Yes.
it. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then through all that work, I could see the impact that we were creating, or I was creating,
Hmm.
in collaboration. And I was like, wow, this is curious. And my whispers had always said that I was here to care for the carer and that I was going to be creating a new earth system. So, proactive healthcare as opposed to reactive. And so then I started inviting all these service providers and product providers and saying, hey, how about you join this umbrella?
Hmm.
And we have a framework where we amplify and activate and give visibility to you, and then we have the circular economy of you giving back into us so that we can support those who are on the front line. So yeah, so 2.5 years ago, I burnt down the kind of business model, although my business model was probably more um, social enterprise
Hmm.
because I did have multiple arms of funding, and that really felt good with my system because the information that we're sharing and supporting people to remember is our innate wisdom. So
Yeah.
I didn't feel that it needed to have a big price tag on it and not be reachable. And my heart still very much lies with those who are on the ground doing the frontline work as opposed
Yeah.
to necessarily the leaders or managers.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, I burnt that down and I started up a charity 2.5 years ago. And then, yeah, just the next chapter really. It's been huge. So part of having a charity is having a board of trustees, so having governance. So we've got a full board of trustees. We've got two ambassadors. One of them's Dame Susan Devoy. Another one's the leading immunologist at Auckland Hospital. And then we have all our service providers who are all around New Zealand, Aotearoa, and we have some from overseas as well. And so anyone can come via Heart Place Hospital. Anyone, you don't have to be a frontline worker, but knowing that when you access support from our service providers, that not only are you receiving care, but we're also able to get to offer care to those in the front line of health, education, and family systems. So a real circular economy. The other thing, really exciting thing that we launched at the end of 2025 was a digital ecosystem. So I've been designing it for 2 years and super grateful that working with New Zealand developers. And it's
Wow.
a real feminine look and feel to accessing wellness. So as a service provider, if they choose, you actually have your own profile, um, newsletter system, booking system, payment system. So rather than us all paying multiple amounts of money for these different
Yeah.
systems, it's all within the system. The profile's there under the umbrella of Heart Place Hospital. So we're wrapped up in looking after one another. So we're not looking all, we're raising each other up and we're
Yeah.
in community of like-minded people. And like you said, I've had multiple service providers say to me, "Oh my gosh, I've had that download and I never followed through with it." So I'm a
Yeah.
yes because, I've had this message. So
Yeah.
that's really super exciting. And then as a visitor, and we really encourage our service providers to stay as visitors as well. So it's
Yeah.
not just another insurance company or EAP where we've just got a whole lot of service providers and we forget about them. We actually
Mm.
encourage them to have their own portals as well. And within your portals, and this is evolving, but we will actually be fully in charge of our own health and well-being, and we can put in our service providers, or we call them our healing roundtable,
Yeah.
and we work in partnership agreement with each other. I'm a visitor. We come with our expertise and we meet our service providers with their expertise and we work in partnership. So it's really very
Beautiful.
much about bringing back sovereignty into our care.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we, yeah, we're really excited, like super excited, because we've also got like a lot of people in America watching this model. They're really
Oh, I
wanting
wondered.
to, yeah, they're really wanting
Yes, my
to
next question was whether
mirror
you were
it. Yeah,
franchising it as such. Yeah.
yeah, and that's what my whispers have said. That's where it heads.
Mm, mm.
But for my heart, it's New Zealand for sure. And some of the cool stories are, we've kept a lot of people in the front line in their roles. So for one, she was a junior doctor and she left medicine, but she's a somatic trauma healer now, and she actually lives in Bali, but she is under the Heart Place Hospital umbrella, so she still serves people in New Zealand. So we educated her here in New Zealand, and we could have easily lost her to the rest of the world. But
Yeah.
because of Heart Place Hospital, she's still serving New Zealanders. I've had nurses who are like, "That's it, I'm leaving, never going back. That is it." And we've taken them through health coaching and trauma healing because a lot of frontline workers, like me, my example, we've had our own trauma that has led us into healthcare because we're
Yes.
empaths and highly sensitive. We want to make sure no one else goes through what we went through, but we come in unhealed. Our boundaries are still
Yeah.
very wounded. And so I know for her, she went through some health coaching and she went through some trauma healing. And then we also gather vicarious trauma. So we've got our own trauma, and then we go into these roles and we experience other people's traumas, and they
That's
just
right.
culminate.
Yeah.
And so in this situation, she did all that. She's now gone and trained as a somatic trauma healer. She's now gone and trained as a health coach, and she's gone back into the hospital because she's
Oh,
feeling like she's making more of an impact with having done her own work and then now being able to be an expert in those areas too.
and
So
she's allowed to practice in that way there though? Like how, but just with her own, so if the patient's in the hospital, is
mhm.
she able to use her skills in that way in the hospital though?
I mean, I'm not sure how she runs it, but it's down
Right.
to energy, isn't it? So,
Yes, for sure.
when they see her energy, then the ripple effect's so big. You don't actually have to do the modality for it to be
Yes.
felt.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
but
cool.
yeah, I'm sure it weaves in, but not in a,
No,
full hours
yeah.
consultation type of way. But
Yes, because
yeah.
yeah.
But just, I mean, she'd been an expert in this area for 35 years and she was going to leave. That's my
Mm,
point, is like we've kept her expertise in New Zealand, in
yes.
an entire area because she did her own work. And now
That's really beautiful.
she can share that work. It might not be, in huge amounts, but in little breadcrumbs and little seeds.
Yeah.
But in the past, it was just literally a tick box, and they were going round and round in a conveyor belt. So now she's feeling that there is impact, and they're not coming back so much as they were. And having someone who can actually say, of course, there's a place for medicine for sure. There's an absolute place for medicine.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's also, a place for how we're humanly designed. So,
Yeah.
nature is medicine, love is medicine, community is medicine, wraparound care is
Mm,
medicine. There's so much.
yeah.
And my
So
keto,
much.
which had 5 things in it, it's now got 55,000 things in it. So if we can just have more and more people in front of our society, who are seeing 30, 40 people a day in their best in that high
Yeah,
frequency,
that's right.
then
Yeah.
then the ripple effect is so much faster.
Mm,
And yeah, I mean, I'm not a system disruptor. I thought I was. I'm absolutely have no interest in trying to fix the systems that we have right now. However,
no.
I really am here as a cycle starter. And yeah, there's no destination. It's just I'm dental persistence, I
No.
call it. It's a big job, but I surrendered to it a few years ago, and I'm human. I still experience overwhelm, and what have I done? But it just keeps getting better, and the people come and help, and it's an absolute honor to say, hey, here I am.
Mm,
I have created the new earth health
you
system, health and
have.
education system, and join the revolution. And I always
Mm.
say we meet at a reasonable time after we've had a really good sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jacqui, there's an actual, spot in Mangawhai that you have set up as the
hmm
hospital.
hmm
And then, say, like your lady in Bali or wherever she is, it's like she will work with clients through your umbrella and online, obviously.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we meet people where they're at. So it's very bespoke support. So we're kind of looking at insurance and EAP, Employment Assistance Program, which is very underutilized because people aren't met with their needs. They're just offered the next person in line.
Mm,
So if people want to do a workshop or one-on-one or listen to something or read something or see something or have a retreat or accommodate, then we we do our best to match them with their needs. The needs increasing exponentially. So at the moment
yeah.
we're not meeting all the needs. But that's my role. My role is to raise awareness and to raise the funds. So um, but yeah, yeah, we are open and willing for new service providers to join us. So people can yeah, utilize people in their locations. We've got people around New Zealand.
Right.
We
Yeah,
are
yeah.
open to increasing that. And online, in person, people travel. We did a retreat in November 2025, and we had people from Queenstown, Hawke's Bay, Coromandel, Northland. We have events here on a regular basis, and people pop up from Auckland and down from Whangarei. So, yeah, we're building a real trusted
Community.
community. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, and
beautiful.
and then it's about collaboration. So if one of our service providers got something in Wellington, then we promote it and support it and amplify it, and then our community sees it too, and they get the benefit of our community. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, and then this first half of this year, we got two massive fundraisers. So I actually wasn't making up that I was feeling overwhelmed sometimes. As this week, I'm like, oh, hello. So we've got March the 14th, which is actually March the 10th is 10 years since my Mac truck and the anniversary of
Mm.
my open heart surgery. So March the 14th, we've got this awesome young guy who's running up and down Mount Eden in Auckland 50 times. He reckons it will take him 16 hours for Heart Place Hospital.
Wow.
Yeah. And then in May, we've got our second time golf tournament at Mangawhai Golf Club. So that's our two major fundraisers. Plus we're evolving and onboarding people
Gosh.
onto our ecosystem, as well as doing the job and the board of trustees and applying for grants. And it's huge, it's massive. If anyone's ever thinking about starting a charity,
Yeah, I've heard this before.
yeah,
Yep,
I'm not sure.
I have heard this before. I know.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's interesting, Jackie, you were saying at the beginning there, you were showing, you got some pointers and some signs,
Hmm.
but you don't see the whole journey. And I think if we did, we'd say, I don't know that I want to do that. Or, oh, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, well, a
Um,
couple of years ago, of no more than a couple of, I did see the whole journey and I did freak out. Um, but I was lucky now. When I say lucky, it wasn't easy.
no.
Because I had to shed a lot. I had
I
to
was
shed a
just going
lot
to
of
say,
people. Yeah,
yeah,
because it turns out that I am, the black sheep of that community I was in and of my family. So I had to shed a lot
it's
and
big,
and
eh?
then find my
Yeah,
people that I could safely speak to and say that
yeah.
I'm guided and we were in Auckland and I was soul guided to move to Mangawhai,
Mm,
um, which was huge because our daughters were 14 and 16 at the time and we left them in Auckland. And so when I look back, I'm like, what was that?
wow. Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, now we've got a commercially consented building on our property and we accommodate. And then now I've been very, very, very deeply soully guided to create a dual location. So I keep getting given Nelson.
Mm,
So yeah,
wow.
we're kind of laying, opening up all the fields so that
Yeah.
we can be guided on the next step. So we've got some guidance there. So we're definitely this year going to go and spend like a month there and feel into the energy
Mm,
and just be seen just outside of so that we're not seen as just Mangawhai. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, my goodness me. And it's gorgeous how this energy now, it's
Hmm.
shifted so much. And yes, we've done so much shedding, and you sort of think, oh, is it over yet? And we done it yet, and then next minute there is something else. But it's
Yeah,
it's getting easier, and I think we're more
it
accepting
is.
of what it is, and we're more in that space of truly feeling accepted about it and allowing the guidance more so too, because there was a lot of time there we were being wholly guided all the way through our whole life.
Yep.
But our self comes in and goes, oh no, we're going to play over here for a minute,
Hmm.
and we, I used to laugh at how all our teams, we're sort of trying to guide us like mustering sheep, trying to
Hmm.
get us to the right doorway at the right time to meet the right
Yeah.
person, or
Yeah.
all those sorts of things. I used to laugh so much because I was so not that girl that I've followed it right through my life. I've always been in that call, and it's been led me all my life. But man, did
Wow.
I go off track a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Funny as. But here, I can see your heart was already in it. When you saw the vision or the full, say, impact of it all, your heart was already called. You were already in it. It was like, okay, well, yes, this is going to be a big, big mission, but I'm in.
Hmm.
And you just know there's no way that you can really turn away from that sort of call though, eh? It's just no way.
I
This is
try.
absolute. I know we might do. Yeah, yeah, it's big. But
Yeah.
gosh, good on you. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. And
Thank you.
I love, love, love it because I've been, working or assisting others through trauma all my life with different modalities and
Hmm.
things. And it's just, switching on that awareness that our body is the pharmaceutical shop. We don't need to go
Yeah.
anywhere else. And when I open it up to people to just speak to the body, and if you're feeling like you might be lacking a bit of iron, then ask the body to balance
Hmm.
it again. And as you say, it's all energetic.
Hmm.
And often, with everyone talking about the sprays in the sky, and all those things, for me, they've never been an issue because I just neutralize. Why would we allow it to harm us? Even knowing it, then why do we allow it if there's harm? So I love, love, love that it's spreading so much too, that you're so invested that you're now going to bring in another point in there, Nelson. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can feel it just zooming out everywhere.
Oh, me
It
too.
just absolute. It's like, when I see it, it's almost like the grid. You're locked into the grid now, and it's like that web is just going to take off.
Yeah.
No stopping
Definitely.
this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And it's
And
certainly new earth.
something I mean, I've always practiced it, but I've been very intentional and including anyone who's staying at the hospital to join me. And the last week I've been doing devotional time, and so it's about 40 minutes each day, and I mix it up. Might be some havening or EFT or breath work or journaling or pull some cards,
Mm,
Tai Chi or Qigong, whatever kind of is coming through. And so, as I alluded to, there's sort of a little bit of overwhelm crept in this week, and I was like, "Hang on, no, we're the new system. We're not doing it the old way. So there's no
yeah,
need for this."
pushing
And
and hard.
but it's really
Yeah,
cool because today my brother-in-law and my husband they joined me, and it was just cool. It was just cool, like the ripple effect of it. Like, we can do
yeah,
this. We can all do this. This is
yeah.
available to us. And like you've said, this is where you can feel into our body. And like yesterday's devotion day, it said you are tending to the fire, you're not the firewood on the fire.
Mm,
And I was like, yeah, I am. I'm tending to the fire. I'm not the firewood on the fire. I've done that.
that's
I've been the
right. We've
firewood. Yeah.
been the firewood for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it is pretty cool. And it is a big,
Mm,
big mission. I believe I'm the conduit, and we're building we've built a revolution, and now we're expanding it. Mm,
yeah. And that firewood analogy, it's like seeing, for me, it was like seeing the rising up out of the ashes,
yeah,
and now you tend the fire.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool trip here, eh? Like when you get what we're actually about and how we're doing it, and how we might not have done it quite the way we wanted to all through, but we've been still been led to get to this point where we're really going to amplify it now. And I think
Mm,
26 is going to be pretty phenomenal in respect to that for those of us who are traveling that road. And who knows for who else? I could say then
Mm.
there's the other side that might find it still extremely difficult, which is
Mm.
just what it is. It's just what it is. But
Oh, like like I've tried to fix everything. Like, I wanted to
no,
fix everyone. I wanted everyone to come with me on the unicorn
yes,
rainbow. But I think it's really nice now to have people that you can kind of go, oh, that's where I was. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. And not loving them any
exactly.
less, but not even
Yeah,
that, just not loving them any less, seeing them for the source activators that they are, that we all are.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. And that again is I think, where we're coming out. I mean, I know myself, I've been so judgmental of life up into this moment, like
Yeah.
we've been in that observer, and even as observer I can be there and I can be very neutral about it, and then Mandy clicks in, or mind of Mandy clicks in, and we start looking at it and judging it and feeling it, and there's been all this shuffling and sifting through so much of what we are in all parts of us, and now we come into the space where it is just so much acceptance. There's not the desire to rescue and save. We haven't got that, pushing at anything. I mean, whatever
Hmm.
success might have meant to me before is just absolutely, that word doesn't even come into it. It's not
Yeah.
even, there's just
I
such a
do. I
change.
really
And
do.
I know you know, and it's so good to have those who
Yeah.
do know, because trying to explain it to somebody who doesn't quite get it, it's
Mm.
quite difficult when they see you as somebody that's just la la, really. But
Mm.
in respect to all of that too, I think we've got so much yet to unfold, and I
Oh
know we
yeah.
all know that.
Mm.
And that's where we're getting excited now, because we're actually seeing the proof in real time of what
Mm.
we've been doing and how much it might have cost us to do it.
Hmm.
But we're actually in that space now where we can see the progress more and more and more. And our worlds are changing in a moment, in an instant, within
Yeah.
and without, throughout us.
Yeah.
So it's really incredibly exciting. And I sit here some days and I go, gosh, you're just so in the now and so in the being that I don't have a plan. I haven't got a plan. I feel there's just so much that's going to unfold. I don't need to plan
Yeah.
anything. I'll know when it's time to take a step,
Yeah.
as I have all my life, but
Yeah.
it won't be with all the hindrance
Yeah.
anymore, which will be
Yeah.
great. And it is
Yes.
great. It's already,
So
already
good.
part
I'd love
two's
to share a
begun.
story that happened the other day. Just to
Yeah.
back that was I was walking on the estuary with my friend. We were dog walking, having a swim, and we were talking about wouldn't it be great if we could, do some sort of water mermaid event. He's so good, women need this, and just chatting away. And I said, oh, but not like organize an event. Like it'd be so cool if it just happened. She's like, yeah, it'd be so cool if it just happened. And then we walked up
Yeah.
to the car park, and there was this barge boat in the car park, and we're like, oh my God, that's so cool. Who would have done that? And then the owner came over, he's from Auckland, and we're like, this is amazing. Like literally it was a magic carpet on a boat,
On
and
water.
it had a
Yeah.
bar in the middle, and it had a toilet in it. Like it had everything that a mermaid needs, right? And we were just like going, this is amazing. Oh my God. And I'm thinking his wife's probably thinking, what have you built? And then there's us going, this is so amazing. And so we kind of swapped numbers because I said to him, I'd love to do like a fundraiser or something fun on this. And he messaged me straight away. He goes, oh, hey, if you want to bring a crew down, we'll meet you at the boat ramp in 2 hours. So we got a whole lot of called out. We put the siren out, and the mermaids showed up, and we had this like 2 hour mermaid part. Like we were literally just talking about it, and then 2 hours later
Is
we were
that
having
how?
this.
Because I saw the photos, I saw the video, and you had
Yeah,
a bit of a DJ going
we
on.
did. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
so great.
yeah. So cool. So
Amazing.
magic and miracles everywhere, like I'm constantly saying to people, be mindful of what you're asking for because they're
Exactly.
coming in
Yeah.
really thick and fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely that, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. I've been, I used to, like, I've always been interested in how we make magic happen, how we create
Mm.
into form, and how all this just, happens when we put it out there. It just falls
Mm.
into place and
Mhm.
turns up for us and all that. And then there were the frustrating times where I couldn't make that happen because it wasn't meant to. It
I
wasn't meant to. But
know.
oh my
I
gosh, I used to
know.
stomp my feet.
Yeah.
And I remember watching a Esther Hicks, Esther and
Yeah.
Jerry Hicks, and
Mhm.
Esther saying, and Abraham saying how, when we're not quite in the void and we're stomping our feet and screaming out, "Where's my stuff?" I've been asking for my stuff for ages. Where is it? And I giggled at that. I've never forgotten it because it's so what we do. Because we know how magical we are. We know the amazing abilities we have. But
Yeah.
actually anchoring them here and creating it in here was
Mm.
like, it's a learning. It's a learning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, oh,
E-
funny.
Every time I'm challenged, I think, oh, well, I might as well sort it out now because if I'm coming back,
Hmm.
then it's all sorted.
Yes, that. Gosh, yes. And it's interesting now, because there's no way we can know of where we're actually going. Like, there's no end to this. So
That's
we're
right.
not ending up somewhere. I often
That's right.
try to see down the track and see where we're
Yeah.
ending up. How's it going to end up?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to end up anything.
No, I know.
It's just keep doing what we're doing and do it
Yeah.
better if that's what you want to do. It's like just
Yeah.
keep
Put
creating.
that on the back of the bus.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so much fun.
Mm.
And so your fundraiser, I mean, that part of it, I know for those who I do know who have gone into charities and who have doing
Hmm.
a lot of fundraising and all the stuff. It's a
Hmm.
lot of work, a lot of work, Jackie.
It's
And
huge work.
it's the marketing side of it all, eh? Getting it
Hmm.
out there is the
Yeah.
the thing. And I find, we're shifting even platforms here. It's
Hmm.
like, it's sort of got to a point. I
Hmm.
have been anyway in this point where this all doesn't work anymore either.
Yeah.
But where do you go? How do you
I
do it? Because the
know.
newspapers don't work anymore. It used to be
No, no,
advertising
they
in a
don't.
newspaper.
No, they don't.
And it's just got that point to it. But of course, it's like typical example of it yesterday or the other day with the man with the boat,
Mm. Energetics.
how it
It's
just
energetics.
comes together.
Yeah, it
And
does.
that's what I was when I just did a trip down to the Manawatu to do some stuff down there. And I knew I'm going to do it this way, but it's not going to work that way. But you've got to start it that way because that's the way that it gets out there a bit. And
Yeah.
then you're going to pull off that, you take the venues out and all the things, but you're still going to be doing it. It's going to be better than what you thought, but it's not through those avenues. And absolutely, I cancelled the venues 4 days from the events.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I had a lady's name in I kept getting this lady's name, and I know her, but I hadn't met her in person. And I thought I've got to contact her. That morning, she messaged me. The following morning, there was a message in Messenger, and everything was set. It was all
I
in
love
motion,
it.
and
Yeah.
all I had to do was just follow the
That's right.
signs.
Hmm.
Take the
Yeah.
steps, and don't try and
Yeah.
control it.
I know.
But that
Yeah.
old avenue of all that type of advertising and,
Hmm.
marketing and how
Mm.
business has always meant to have run has never been my thing. It's never been.
Mm.
I found it very difficult to try and merge the way I work in the sense of let it turn up and it just will,
Mm. Yeah.
to structuring it into how everyone else does business and what was
Yeah.
expected. It's been a struggle for me, that part, for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It was a
yeah.
challenge for me because and I was always told it was my money block. So maybe it still is, but I was never, the money for time never worked for me.
Same. Yeah,
The
me
energy for
either.
energy does. So, and
Yes.
reciprocity is one of my top values. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I know it's a balance, isn't it? To go from that to fully going into this. And yeah,
Yeah,
I get it. I so get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I know. I was looking at doing the sovereignty thing, taking out my
Hmm.
birth certificate, doing all the thing. And then I had this big pang of, but what if, it's like
Yeah,
that because we're so used to that system, even though
that's
it doesn't
right.
work for us and it's not who
That's
we
right.
are. We're
Yeah.
so used to it all. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely, I'm pleased it's all shifting, I have to say. It's very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much excitement around um, who we are, yes, but what we can actually really start creating now. I think we've got green light for sure.
Hmm.
We've broken
Yeah.
through the membrane, haven't
Yeah.
we? And we're just
Yeah.
really birthing
And it
now.
makes sense, like everything I've been through, all the dismantling I've been through and judgment and all the things, all the, stabs in
Yeah,
my heart.
yes,
Um, they've led
for
me to
sure.
now being, and I sort of talk about rather than girl bossing, I girl moss and
Girl, what? Girl
moss, moss,
moss.
yeah, girl mossing. So what that to me is like a soft strength as opposed to that real masculine power. It's more of a soft strength.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I just need to
Yeah.
open the store, but I can hear you. So you're saying moss as in MOSS?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that beautiful, beautiful nurtured layer that sits in, yeah,
Yeah,
softness. And
that's
yeah, I get it.
and it's taken an eternity to grow as well. Like it's just not doesn't just it's
Yes,
weed. It's
yes.
yeah. And yeah, so I that's the energy I'm bringing in to
Mm,
2026. And this girl mossing.
beautiful. And are you noticing, gosh, it's got so hot in here. Are you
Hot chocolate.
noticing the men, coming more on board and things too? Like,
Oh yeah, we just had well, I had my brother-in-law and husband come this morning to devotion time. I had men come to my devotion time on Sunday. We just had a float sound journey and we had close to half of them were men.
yeah.
My husband's an ecstatic dance DJ, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, and we're super normies, like
Yeah, yeah,
like we don't yeah, we're
yeah,
super normies, like no tattoos, no dreadlocks.
yeah.
And so yeah, I do see
Mm,
them. Yeah. And
me too.
our service providers, we've got men's coaches and men's that do
Mm.
breath work and men that do cacao and yeah, so
Yeah, I love it.
got men in
Love it,
there
love
for
it.
sure. Yeah. I think I'm a woman, so I bias, but I think I know we've had been duped as women, but men have been equally duped. So
Absolutely. For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we are the receivers, they're the givers, and we've got to start acting like it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I love it. I've been witnessing a lot of the men. I've been on my own for 24 years, so I haven't seen it in my own personal life as such as a partner, but I see it around me and how many men now are softening so much and they've come in and they're just standing now beside their woman. It's
Yeah.
it's so lovely,
Yeah.
really, really beautiful, opening
Yeah.
themselves more to them in a softer way. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's lovely. I've been so loving watching all that.
Yeah. That's super cool.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and seeing, with these monks, the monks that are walking at the
Oh my
moment.
God, so cool.
Oh my,
I
honestly, I
know.
just bawl every time I see them
Me
in the picture.
too.
They're just so good and Aloka. Oh my goodness. But what I loved was there was one lady who, and they stop and talk with different ones, and or lots of different videos go up about
Hmm.
them and how they're working, walking, and blah, blah, blah. But this one, and this little girl gave the monk, he went over to her and she'd made him a card and he opened it up and it was, I love monks or something. It was so cute.
Darling. Yeah.
And the mother said, it's been such a beautiful thing to be able to teach my daughter about this walk.
Oh,
And what it's doing is
yeah.
amplifying the meaning of peace,
Yeah.
and commitment and dedication. And oh my goodness me, it's just been insanely beautiful. I've
Yeah.
just loved watching it, and
Yeah. But
yeah,
I'm seeing it in everyday stuff as well. My brother-in-law's staying and he's solo parenting three young kids and he's
yeah,
he's in his older years and he's also got a back injury and he just sees the silver lining in everything and just the way he gets down to their level and speaks to them and yeah, we're shifting away from he had a really bad life and
yes,
to like he evolved through so
yes,
much. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, he's
yeah,
a very gentle, kind,
yes,
loving dad
yes.
who's had a lot of big life lessons. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's another part to what I'm enjoying seeing too, is more hands-on
Mm.
dads. And you
Yeah.
know, my
Yeah.
dad was a very kind and gentle man, but he was busy working and he wasn't all that hands-on
Yeah.
when we were little and all that, but he was
Mm.
always around and very focused on us as a family. But when my daughter, my oldest daughter, had her son or their son, her partner, his father was very hands-on. And it was really beautiful to watch and giggles. There was a lot of giggles, But
Yeah.
but just so lovely to watch him being so enthusiastic about being more of that, in his son's
Yeah.
life,
Oh,
being more
amazing.
hands-on.
That's
It's
great.
beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mm, yeah. So the world is changing. It really is. And I know a lot of
Hmm.
people are focused on what isn't happening out there and what is still in that other realm that we've all traversed through. But it's for what, like, I can't even go there now. I can't even look at what's going on out in the world in that respect anymore. It just has no resonance to me whatsoever.
Well,
And
I'm choosing peace over performance.
for sure,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and that's not a spiritual bypass. That's me anchoring frequencies where I can
that's right.
and
Yeah,
being a field worker where I can. So,
yeah,
yeah, me exposing myself to that with the type of gifts that I have
yeah.
is not it's not serving anybody.
No,
Yeah.
exactly that. I love that we've got to that point because there was a big part of, I always have worked energetically, and when I'm not being seen to be standing out with placard or
Mm,
putting it all up on Facebook about the big fight and we need to get out there and we
mm,
need to change this and do that, blah, blah, blah. Never worked like that at all.
yeah,
And,
no, totally.
when I reminded people in the COVID era about actually just working on it energetically rather than
Mm,
actually out there
yeah.
again with the battle, it's like
Hmm.
just, what can you do energetically around your bodies
Yeah.
and
And that was
all that.
me when we moved out of Auckland and left our daughters in Auckland boarding with my parents. I wasn't there for that mundane day-to-day stuff, but I was energetically there. And then when it really counted, I was there. So,
Yes.
which was massive because no one else did this, and there was
Hmm.
huge a perception of what I was doing, and I was totally soul-led, so I had to trust and faith in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're kind of through that era. I'm like, wow, that was real brave. Like,
Exactly that,
yeah,
eh?
yeah.
Yeah, it did it. It opened a lot up and a lot of people and a lot of new ways of thinking and seeing things as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went through a stage of feeling guilty, like actually maybe I should be out there, blah blah blah, doing it that way. And then it was like,
Mm.
no, no, it's not
I
what
just
you're
always, I
about.
still do it. I still check in. Am I meant to be there? No.
Yes,
Like it's a real no. Am, am I meant to do anything? You're doing it. Okay, cool, sweet.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. That's
Yeah,
exactly me too. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's like
Well,
I have to
I'm a
keep.
radical rebellion, so
Yeah,
if it was a yes, I'd do it. So
yeah, me
yeah.
too. Yeah, same. Oh, beautiful,
Yeah.
Jackie. Absolutely
Lovely to
beautiful.
chat with you, Mandy.
Lovely to chat with you too.
Mm.
And whenever I get down to Mangawhai, I'm going to come and check out the
Yeah,
hospital, and
do.
I'd love
Yep.
to.
We're almost always here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mm.
So gorgeous. Well, thank you so much for saying yes. And
Pleasure.
if you can send me a link for the hospital and things, I've probably got it there anyway,
Sure.
but I'll
Yeah.
find it. and we'll put it up with your
Yeah,
blurb. All right.
that's
Much
good.
love to you and the fam,
Yeah,
and
you
have a
too.
wonderful
Yeah.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm here
beautiful.
for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Much love.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye bye.